What's up, y'all? Joe. Combination of caffeine and 7-Eleven version of Gatorade. Recovering from the jet lag. Funny, like read somebody's one of Paul's videos. They were watching my videos along with his videos, and I don't know, Paul said something about like, all right, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video or something like that. And people's comments were like, damn, I just thought of Joe's diet and all that shit because I've been drinking a lot of caffeine and all the stupid sugar shit. It's like, yeah. It's like I shouldn't do that, but it's kind of hard not to because fuck, I need mental stimuli, man, to keep me up. Alright, so I'm doing Paul's final video, his vlog. When I'm doing this video, I want to like do a tutorial, basically what I learned when I went to Computex. And like the thing is that like there's like a certain structure that I did with Paul's videos that has been a massive help to get work done faster, right? Now to begin with is this. Now I copied all the footage from the laptop into my computer, right? But it's basically the same thing, right? Basically what I did, and like I actually learned this while working on my own videos using DaVinci. Before I used to make like a separate folder for each individual video, right? Actually that's a fucking kind of a pain in the ass to maintain in the structure. It's better obviously to have everything inside of one folder, right? So in this case, this is the main folder, right? Please ignore the rest. Like I said, like actually I use my external storage device to transfer the footage over to my computer, right? But basically I made one folder, and inside of that one folder, every time I start a new project, I have a template. I open up this project, I have a bunch of like files inside of this main template, say like assets, sound effects, music. It's all ready to go in here, right? So it opens up main template, and I put the time beforehand to create this for myself, right? So basically what I have here is like now let me go back to our standard layout. This is another thing, I created my own like layout, but if I go back to the standard layout for Premiere Pro, I put like sound effects here. These are all the sound effects inside of this main template folder that I created for myself, right? I also have other stuff. It's intro and outro videos, you know, stuff like that. Just watermarks, text that we use or whatever. So basically, yeah, that's what I do. I open up Premiere Pro, and then I made one template for the file, right? And every time I start a new project, I open this file because it has all the music, footage, sound effects, you know, just stuff that I use consistently inside of this. And then basically I go to File, then I'll make a save as, and then I'll save it as whatever project I'm working on, and I'll leave like this template alone, and it creates a new project file using everything I have here, right? All the sound effects and assets and so on and so forth, right? So that's one thing I did to begin with, right? Is I created like a main project template folder that I always start out with first before I start editing, and then I save it as, you know, whatever, you know, Computex or, you know, fucking Paul's vlog or whatever. Then like I edit off this thing, right? But I leave the original alone, right? So I can save it for the next project. I took this with me to Taipei, and inside of this folder, each folder is like different like videos that he filmed, right? Cooler Master, Thermaltake, G-Skill, Gigabyte, Fabtech, so they're each of their own folder, right? These are nothing but basically just the raw camera footage, right? For both cameras and audio. So that's what these guys are. They're all inside one folder. Now, like I said, I made one main project file. So what I did was, instead of having one project file for each folder, for each video, I dumped all the footage inside of one project file when we were in Computex, right, in Taiwan. So if I open this project file, all right, so here we go. Let me see and maximize that. So I have a bin here, and here's Computex 2023, right? Everything that Paul filmed, I put it inside of this one project file, right? This actually turned out to be a massive time saver, right? So now I have like, you know, G-Skill, Cooler Master, Thermaltake, G-Skill, they're all here, right? So the cool thing about doing it in this manner, which I have all the videos inside of one project, you know, structure, is simply that like if Paul is talking, since he's talking about his vlog, if for whatever reason he brings up like, I don't know, let's just say Cooler Master, for example, I'm able to open up like the project file here, and since I already have like the footage inside of this project file, you know, I could just look up like, I don't know, just something specific that he wants, you know, make a, you know, my in and out points, and then I could just drag it in here and, you know, boom, there you go, right? If I would have created like a different project file for each video, I would have had to like search for that same like clip that I was just talking about instead of like this like window search thing, and then like do it that way. That's just a pain in the ass, right? So this saves a lot of time because it's already, everything is inside of one project file. So it's a good way to do it in this manner. Get one project file, throw all your footage into that project file. Another thing you want to do is make sure you want to save copies, right? We go to edit, go down to preferences, and you go to autosave. For autosaves, for me, honestly, I save it every 1 minute. Project version 60, so if it's making like one version every minute, so that's, I get 1 hour's worth of like saves backed up, right? That way, like if something fucking happens for whatever reason, the video, because it does happen with Premiere, if the project file gets corrupted, then I have a few versions to go back and be able to continue working, right? That might be too much for some people. Also, I hate the fucking save system in Premiere Pro because there's always like a delay. It's not as fast as DaVinci, right? But the wait is not that big of a deal for me because because if something was to happen, then like at least I don't lose that much work because I'm able to edit so much inside of a minute, right? So that's something you want to do. Also, if we go to like a file and project settings, and we go to like I think it's scratch disk, is that it? Yeah. So with the project autosaves, when usually you want to make sure you save like the project autosave. So every time like it creates a new autosave every minute or whatever setting you have, be sure to put it in a drive that's away from where your software is installed, or something completely different where you're saving the original project file. Say for example, yeah, I got a lot of like SSD. So say Premiere Pro was installed on my local C drive, and I have like the project file, this one, you know, Computex, saved in a local C drive. It makes way more sense to have another SSD that's connected to your computer and save the auto files in there. The way for whatever reason this thing gets corrupted, then like the autosaves get saved in the other SSD card, right? Either you can like grab it later, or after you're like restore a new local C drive or whatever, then you have access to it, right? So yeah, you want to have backups in that manner. Just save it in a different like storage device, obviously, your autosaves. So yeah, having this folder structure has been like a massive help. You know, everything's here, everything's ready to go. It's all in one folder. It's clean, it's organized, it's good to go. And probably like I guess like the final tip I want to like share. There's a lot of common sense shit that we did for this event. One of the main things is simply making sure you get the best footage possible to begin with, right? Yeah, something like a fucking like a Gabe Paul shit about big time is to make sure he white balances his footage, because there's been times where like in past events he's so busy running around with the fucking camera because, you know, he's on a time crunch, right? He's scheduled to do stuff. He'll forget the white balance, and that's not ideal. Let me bring up a good example. All right, this is probably the best example I can think of right now. If you look at the footage here overall, there's bit of a reddish hue overall, right? I mean, it looks good, it's fine, but as you can see, like the black, so here's red, like if this black, this is supposed to be black, it's kind of reddish, right? Now that's a combination of like the environment, the light, and all the stuff, right? But yeah, this is what happens when you don't like white balance, right? He did an interview with a guy from Cooler Master, and we white balance, and you can see the difference, right? See the blacks? They actually look black. It doesn't have like that reddish look. Yeah, this is why I told Paul, please white balance. Obviously, you want to white balance, you can get a good image. As an editor for that fucking event, I did very little color correction. If anything, I kind of totally skipped over a lot of that because it could take up a lot of time, right? So I told him, please white balance. So in this situation by itself, it looks good as is. So maybe all I did was like, I just maybe add a little contrast and saturation, and that's it. I didn't do that much, right? There are little things that we're going to do for next event. Like Paul wants to get a better mic. Yeah, these events are very noisy, so he wants to get a better mic to get better audio. And I guess like the thing I want to end with the video here is like, okay, if I zoom in here, right? I'm actually editing this video right now, and like we zoom in here, there's no transitions, right? Between here. Usually when you're editing audio and there's like a cut, you want to add a little bit of a transition, because if not like that sudden cut, you get almost like a pop sound, or it's like a disturbance, right? So usually what I do is I'll select this cut and I'll add a transition. It's very small, right? Maybe like 2 frames. But the thing is this, say if I want to drop in this footage, right? Make a quick little in and out points. If I drop in this footage, now for the most part I have like the snap to timeline selected. That way, like, you know, if there's like a snap, boom, right? But look what happens when I get close to like the transition. See that? It snaps to the edge of the transition, it becomes a problem. So the same thing happens when like, say I want to drop in like this footage. If I want to get close to like where this cut's at, see, like it snaps to like the edge of like the transition here. Let's just say, for example, let me make this really green, or just some weird color, just so you can see the difference, right? So if I'm editing, see there's like a slight frame where like you see that cut, because like you know, this thing was snapping to like the transition here. Now if I get rid of the transition, now if I get closer, boom, see that it actually gets this thing snaps to like the cut. And that's something that you want. That way, like when I'm editing, I don't have like that one single frame where like it's not where the cut is at, and there could be like a weird jump cut or something like that. So something I did is simply that like I'll edit first everything. I'll add the B-roll, and then towards the end, I'll add my transitions. You want to save the transitions last. Yeah, because as you're editing, right, you want to, like I say, add your footage here, you know, it's like boom. See, it snapped into place really quick here, right? But if I had like a transition here, you know, if I want to add the same clip, boom, see, like, it gets stuck to the edge of the fucking transition. Now, it's annoying that I know of. There's no way to, like, get rid of that. I mean, you can disable the snapping, but then, like, you know, it's just too free, and, like, you know, then you have to, like, try to align the where the cut is at, and I don't want that. You know, that's why I edit with a snapping. It's just quicker, right? But again, you have to deal with that situation where, like, it kind of like snaps to the edge of the transition, which I think is dumb as fuck. I wish there's a way to remove that. But anyways, yeah, for that reason, like, I try to add the transitions last. That way, like, I can snap my footage to the edge of the cut here, right? And the funny thing I want to end with is this. All right, let's just make this really quick here. Add that there. Add this other guy here. And let's do a final one. Let's just add these speakers or whatever. There you go, super quick. Okay, so I got 3 cuts here, right? But usually this is what I do. As Paul is talking, I'll make cuts when he switches like topic or a sentence or whatever. So usually that's why I add the B-roll. Change the color of that. As he's talking, there's a cut here. I start like the B-roll. Cut here, I don't know, he's talking about something else. A cut here. Then, like, that's the end of the B-roll. It goes back to, like, you know, to the camera, him talking, right? Something that I also do to save me time with the fucking transitions is that, for the most part, I'll add it here just so you can see the difference. As he's talking, there will be, like, almost like there'll be, like, a transition that fades slowly into whatever product he's talking about. Then there'll be a transition out that's slow that goes back to the camera, me, you know, talking to me. That way, like, just to make things smoother or something like that. Now, usually with that transition you just saw, or I'll show it again here, I'll do that when I'm home, when I have time to edit, because it doesn't look good, right? Now, the thing is that if I go back to this example, my transitions, with the audio, I use the transitions of 2 frames, right? Because it's just quick. It's just mainly to hide that cut so it doesn't sound that bad. For that slow transition you just saw, for the most part, I use 8 frames. It looks fine to me, right? That's what I use all the time. So now if I select all these clips, and if I apply that transition, this is what happens.
Square.
All right, you see that right here? There's the transition happens here, right towards the end of the clip, and you can see almost like a jump cut that happens.
Like a square.
Yeah, see that jump cut?
A square.
Yeah, we don't want that. So sometimes, like when I have the time, I'll stretch out this clip to overlap this clip right here. That way, like, it, you know, it fades into like the new clip, and you don't see the jump cut.
Like a square mozzarella.
So yeah, it looks better, right? So in this case, just to save time, I'll only select the 2 cuts here in between. And the autosave there, fucking Premiere Pro is a piece of shit. It takes forever to goddamn save anything. And what a garbage. And so again, I select these fucking edits, apply the transition. And so yeah, you have the transition here. You have the transition there. And then when it goes back to pop, boom. So that's something I did a lot in actually this Computex event. It's basically to save time. I didn't add transitions at the end of like the B-roll. So that way it just does like a quick jump to the whatever B-roll we have. And then like from the B-roll, it goes back to like the camera. But in between the B-roll, between this end and this end of like these 3 clips I have selected for B-roll, just so it can look better and stuff like that. And, you know, once it goes back to pause talk to the camera, boom, there's a cut. So I did that a lot. And again, towards the end, you know, I'll go back to like the default frames of 2 frames per second. This is for the audio only. And then like I select the audio, and then like I'll apply the transition to the audio last, right? That way to avoid, you know, my B-roll snapping to like the edge of that transition, which I don't know why you cannot have an option to not do that. It's very annoying, right? But anyways, that's all I got for you. If you like this video, there's some QR codes here on the site. If you want to help me buy a coffee. And yeah, if they look kind of grayed out, I got a suggestion that they were too fucking bright, so I made them a little darker. So yeah, if you're watching this in a dark room, it's not burning your fucking eyes out because the QR codes are white. But yeah, if you want to buy me a coffee, I'll appreciate it. And yeah, I'll get back to making more tutorials down the line because I like doing this. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Peace.